Hi friends, my name is Chaitanya Patke and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Extremely happy, extremely delighted, and extremely satisfied with our victory over Pakistan yesterday. As you can imagine, there is a Diwali atmosphere in all of the country. It always is when we defeat Pakistan. After 308-day gap, that Pakistan defeated us by 10 wickets in the opener in the ICC T20 World Cup 2021, we have finally gained our revenge. I wouldn't use the word revenge, but any win against Pakistan is always satisfactory, and this one went down to the wire. But no doubt, Hardik Pandya showed his composure, his class, and that's why he has proved that he's the best white ball all-rounder in the world today. His composure, his skill set, and his clarity of thinking under pressure sets him apart from the rest of the pack. So India won the toss and chose to ball as expectedly. I think the toss was a bit overstated because the due factor didn't come in as much as it would have anticipated by the cricket experts. But in high pressure games, I think it is also a good ploy to you bat first, put some score on the board, and scoreboard pressure always works, especially in India Pakistan. But it was the right thing to do by choosing to bowl first. India stuck to our strength, and it is the first time in a World Cup game that all the 10 wickets have been taken by fast bowlers, which shows our evolution. Although UC Chahal and Ravindra Jadeja bowled decently well, India won the toss, as I said, and put Pakistan in. The Bhuvneshwar Kumar removed Babar Azam, their best batsman, and it was a well set tactical ploy which worked brilliantly. As you know that in the T20 format only one bouncer per over is allowed, and Bhuvi used that excellently well. He set him up with incoming deliveries. Those two deliveries were full, and then surprised him with the short ball which Babar couldn't control. Although he looked in fine touch of two boundaries of Arshdeep Singh, but as I said in my preview as well, Bhuvneshwar Kumar holds the key, because if India get early wickets, then we are in the game. And Pakistani batting order is very top heavy, which comprises Mohammad Rizwan, Babar Azam, and Fakhar Zaman. If we get any two of the three, then Pakistan are in deep trouble, and that's exactly what happened. Happy for Bhuvi as well. He for the past 18 months hadn't been performing up to his potential, and many cricket experts were also questioning his place in the side. But since the beginning of the IPL, he has responded wonderfully well to the criticism, and he is a vital cog in our bowling lineup after Jasprit Bumrah, and he's currently the leader as Jasprit Bumrah is not playing. Anyways, wonderful performance by him. In 4 overs, he gave away just 26 runs by taking away 4 wickets. The best one was, of course, of Babar Azam, but towards the end, he bowled also nicely. The cutter he bowled wide outside the off stump to Asif Ali showed his experience, showed his ability, and showed his temperament when under pressure, which ball to bowl, and that is experience. Experience cannot be bought in the market. It comes after years and years of grind and hard work. And as we know, Bhuvi has performed consistently day in and day out for Sunrisers Hyderabad as well as India for 10 years now almost. So happy for him, and he's such a humble guy. His clarity of thought is excellent, and he works very hard and puts his head down, and always responds well to criticism, takes it on the chin, and Bhuvi deserves all the accolades he get. I hope that he had a hat trick, but anyways, that is part and parcel of the game. Arshdeep Singh in 3.5 overs gave away 33 runs and took two crucial wickets, including the one of Shahnawaz Dhani when he hit two sixes towards the latter end. Good bowling for Arshdeep. It will be a nice learning experience for him. And you know what, that he's a quick learner. After Shahnawaz Dhani hit him for his second six over deep square leg, he just went to his strength, which was the Yorker, and cleaned up his middle stump in the next ball. So it shows his thinking. So that is a good asset to have as well when you are young. Hardik Pandya, once again, what can I say? I will analyze his batting in a few moments from now, but his bowling was also excellent. The way he used the short ball for all his dismissals was brilliant as well. The way he cramped up Khushdil Shah, I think was the best dismissal, because Khushdil is a free flowing attacking batsman. I don't know if many Indian fans know about him, but those who follow PSL know that he likes to play over mid wicket and cow corner. So he tucked him up with the short ball, which worked in India's favor. Same was the case with Mohammad Rizwan, because it was a short ball and it wasn't so short, but Mohammad Rizwan also didn't play a good innings by his standards. 43 of 42 deliveries, which included 4 fours and a 6. It was, I think, almost identical and runner ball, and it proved detrimental to Pakistan's large scheme of things, because they were 10 to 15 runs short, as Babar Azam said in the post-match interview. He tucked him up and just Rizwan tried to play the ball over third man, but Avesh Khan took a brilliant catch under pressure. And so was the case with Iftikhar Ahmed. He was looking good. He scored 28 of 22 deliveries, including 2 fours and a massive 6. He had the ability to take the game away from India in the middle overs if he could have stayed in the crease. But Hardik once again used the short ball well. The thing with the short ball is that you should be able to figure out when to use it. If we do too much of a short ball, only one bouncer is allowed in the T20 format. Then the second one will be called a wide or a no ball. So it will be interesting. Your short ball shouldn't get anticipated by the batsman, so he can sit up nicely and hit it over square leg or on the leg side or wherever he likes. So Hardik bowled that well, and what can I say more? He is in the golden period of his life. Everyone written him off after 2021 T20 World Cup. He went back to the basics. First of all, his worked on his fitness pretty well. Had good training sessions privately with his coaches, and his resurrection started from IPL 2022. Nobody expected Gujarat Titans to win the title. They were the weakest team, but with exemplary leadership qualities, Hardik also sailed through with Gujarat Titans, and his performances in the IPL final, if you don't forget, are magnificent and are worthy of appreciation. With the ball, he won the final against Rajasthan Royals, and I hope long may his form continue, and he will be an asset for us in the T20 World Cup as well as the 50 over ODI World Cup, which is going to take place in India in a year's time. So well done, Hardik. Khushdil Shah went for 2 of 7 deliveries. Shadab Khan also couldn't do much. He was LBW to Bhuvneshwar Kumar's in-swinger, 10 runs of 9 deliveries. Once again, Bhuvi sat him very well. Asif Ali, we know Pakistan's hero from last T20 World Cup, but unfortunately hasn't able to set the stage alight after that. He scored 9 of 7 deliveries. Once again, Bhuvi got his wicket. Mohammad Nawaz fell to Arshdeep Singh for just a single run. So did Bhuvneshwar Kumar, trapped Mohammad Naseem for a duck first ball right in front of the stumps. Shahnawaz Dhani just his 2 blows towards the latter part of the Pakistan innings made the score respectable. He scored 16 of 6 deliveries, which included 2 sixes, and he was finally bowled by Arshdeep Singh. And the figures for Indian bowlers were encouraging. Bhuvi 4 overs, 4 for 26. Arshdeep Singh 3.5 overs, 33 runs, 2 wickets. Hardik Pandya 4 overs, 25 runs, 3 wickets. Avesh Khan got the crucial wicket of Fakhar Zaman, although he had taken a bit of a coping from him. 2 overs, 19 runs, 1 wicket. Yuzi Chahal, I think it wasn't his bad day, but it wasn't his best day either. It was unfortunate not to get a wicket. I think he deserved one. He bowled well, but sometimes he was a bit short outside the off stump, which allowed the batsman to cut him for 4. Iftikhar and Rizwan did the same. So I think if he bowls a little bit fuller and stump to stump, that will be essential to his success in the following matches. Ravindra Jadeja also bowled economically well. In 2 overs, he gave away just 11 runs, although he didn't pick up any wicket. India's chase of 148 began on a very sour note, I would say. KL Rahul making its comeback to the T20 format, was bowled very first ball of Naseem Shah. He chopped it on to this middle stump. A disappointing way for Rahul, and he was very unhappy with his dismissal. That was evident on his face, and yes, it hurts a lot against arch rivals, making a comeback to the T20 format after such a long time and scoring a 0. So that doesn't sit well. But anyways, He will bounce back. We do not doubt his ability and talent at all. Rohit Sharma struggled today. He tried to get away a few shots in the power play, tried to hit them out of the ground. Has been his template after the T20 World Cup last year, and he has been most successful. Rohit Sharma's strike rate is the best amongst all batsmen in the world in the first power play after the T20 World Cup in 2021 at a strike rate of more than 155. So that we cannot fault his approach, but it just didn't come off. 12 of 18 deliveries, which included 1 6. He could have done better, but I'm sure he will find his touch and rhythm in the next game. Virat Kohli scored 35 of 34 deliveries, which included 3 boundaries and 6 of Haris Rauf. I think he was a bit lucky. That is an understatement actually. He could have been out 4 times, and the way he got out the 5th time towards long gone, that is the sort of dismissal he will curse himself. And after all these years of experience and all the chases that he has mastered for Team India over the years, that dismissal will hurt him as well. That shot wasn't needed that moment, but anyways, it is good that he has 35 runs, although they weren't very convincing. But the two shots that he hit of Shahnawaz Dahani for 4 were very encouraging. And if he spent more time in the middle, who knows, he could have steered India to victory himself. And but this innings will provide him a much needed confidence, because runs under the belt always work. No matter how much shots you play in the nets, it is the main experience that matters, and he was the joint highest run scorer today with Jadeja. Ravindra Jadeja scored 35 of 29 deliveries. It was a surprise move by the team management to send him up at number 4, but he repaid their faith in them, took the singles wherever necessary, converted ones to twos on couple of occasions, and he hit a brilliant 6 of Naseem Shah. Although Naseem was struggling, it was a commendable effort for him, and he almost got him out, but unfortunately for him, the ball was pitching just a millimeter short outside leg. But great effort from Naseem Shah as well, very commendable. We all know how difficult it is for a fast bowler to manage an hamstring injury, but it was easy for him to just give up and think about long term. But India-Pakistan matches don't go that way, and I'm sure the boy will go a long way, because he has seen tragedy in his life earlier. He lost his mother at a very young age. After a promising start to his international career, he has always been hampered by injuries, maybe thigh injury or back injury, and now the hamstring injury has coped up. The injury looked very serious to me, and I don't think he will take further part in the tournament. Further blow to Pakistan, who already lost Shaheen Shah Afridi, their ace up the sleeve, and Mohammad Wasim Jr. So Hassan Ali will be drafted into the next match against Hong Kong, no doubt. But commendable effort from Naseem Shah, I beg your pardon, and he will go a long way because he showed guts, he showed determination, and it is necessary to fight irrespective of the result. That's what the fans come to see. But fortunately for India, Ravindra Jadeja hit that 6, and Jaddu was pretty efficient as well in the running between the wickets, as I said moments earlier. So his 35 will also give him a lot more confidence, and many people viewed Ravindra Jadeja as a bowling all-rounder. This innings will change their perception, and people will think that he's a batting all-rounder, because his batting stats across formats has also been wonderfully well since the last 2 years, especially the T20 format as well. IPL season 2022 with CSK was an aberration for him. He wasn't in his best form, and afterwards Dhoni took over the captaincy, and it all began downhill for Jaddu in that season. But anyways, he has made a comeback in this match, and I hope long this may continue. Surya Kumar Yadav, I think, struggled a bit today. He didn't look out of touch, but he didn't look in his usual self as well. He scored 18, and he tried to force the pace and got out to Naseem Shah, but that happens sometimes. Dinesh Karthik took a single in the last delivery for Hardik Pandya to set up a grandstand finish. The ball earlier, before he went for he shot his shot went over long on for 6. It was a dot ball, and his expression is gaining attention on social media and becoming very viral, that he's assured, calm, composed that he will finish it, and he did. His knock of 33 of 17 deliveries unbeaten included 4 boundaries and a 6, and the 6 was the one etched in our memory forever, because as they say that even if you are out of form, if you play one innings against Pakistan, all your sins will be forgotten by the people. Hardik is not out of form, far from it, and I hope he never goes out of form, because that's the sort of player he is and that's the sort of caliber he has. And he showed once again. And I was listening to his post match presentation as well. Very articulate, very thoughtful, and he said that he has nothing to lose while bowling, while batting in the last over. Even if the score was 15, he had backed himself. And yes, three boundaries of Haris Rauf in the 19th over and 1-6 sealed it. Golden period of Hardik. And I repeat once again, I had said in my previous videos as well that Hardik Pandya is the most important cog in our wheel for Team India. I think his importance is more than Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. And with Jasprit Bumrah and Hardik Pandya, we have two aces up our sleeve. It is evident to know that although Virat scored 35, he didn't look fluid. Rohit Sharma only scored 18, and KL Rahul got out for first ball duck. Still, we managed to win the match. So this team has tremendous resilience, determination, fighting spirit, and we have what it takes to win the World Cup, which was evident in the last match. The victory against Pakistan by 5 wickets wasn't easy, but this sort of victory boosts the confidence and morale of the team way higher than a 10 wicket victory or a 9 wicket victory. It shows that we have stuck together, and whole of India is proud of the efforts from the boys. Hardik Pandya rightfully adjust man of the match. It was a toss up between Bhuvi and Hardik, but the way Hardik finished it settled this debate. So yes, well done to Team India, and it will be interesting to see what team combination against Hong Kong Team India goes up with. With all due respect to Hong Kong, India will win that match surely, and it will be a grandstand next Sunday as well on 4th September, where India will take on Pakistan, as is the format. That will be a cracker as well. So how did you like my analysis of this match? Please tell in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for further notifications. We'll meet in the next video. Till then everyone, bye.